Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nexus podcast. I just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and here is my non-spoiler review. Before we dive straight into this, for those who don't know, this is how I rate films. 5 categories ranked out of 10, and then I average those categories up to score the movie out of 10. I also give my generalized thoughts at the end here on YouTube, and these don't go into any minute details, they just come from a standard viewer or fan perspective. Anyway, let's go straight into this. Start with the acting in the film. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania brings up characters we know from the comics and characters from the old Ant-Man films, which means a lot of actors from the old films come back and there are some new ones too. The acting in general of all of these guys was pretty good. I didn't seem to find anything wrong whilst watching or any performances that were a bit off. The most I could really say is there was a slight lack of emotion in certain scenes, but it didn't really affect me too much whilst I was watching. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the acting in this film. Standout for me though was definitely Jonathan Majors. I mean, he's incredible and really elevates Kang to life. I really think he did carry my decision to rate the acting of the film an 8 out of 10. Paul Rudd was great. I mean, he's Paul Rudd. He's always great. Catherine Newton did a really good job in the last half hour of the movie, portraying Cassie Lang in action. Michelle Pfeiffer showed some solid emotion and genuine fear throughout the movie, and she was another one who you could arguably say stole the show after Jonathan. And her character Janet was the only character where you could really see some raw emotion from in this film. And generally, it was an excellent display by her. Everyone else was good, they weren't bad at all. Evangeline Lilly, they've had their moments of shine in other films, but they weren't up there this time around. Now going into the story, I can't really fault the storyline for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Everything works nicely, it's not hard to understand, and there's not too much to take in, and ultimately it's fun to watch. So I'm going to give this story a 7.5 out of 10. I loved its pacing and how it tried to incorporate some aspects of the old Ant-Man films, all whilst introducing Kang and allowing a bit of humour too. Someone who doesn't even follow Marvel could go into this and enjoy it, and I think that's great. The only thing I will mention here is the lack of it actually being an Ant-Man movie. It didn't give off the vibe that I was watching an Ant-Man film, if that makes sense. This was different compared to the first and second one, and possibly more of a character issue due to arcs and development, but I really think this was Kang's film, not any of the other Ant-Man characters. Talking about Kang, I also thought the ending could have been a bit better. Kang is the MCU's big bad, and they were fighting the Concrete variant, one of the powerful ones, to be honest. And I think if this movie ended in a slightly different way, we would have been more excited for what Marvel is yet to bring out, but I'll speak about this more later. Overall though, for story, I thought this was a nice opening to Phase 5. There wasn't anything wrong with it, and we can just enjoy it for what it is. I don't think we should dwell on what it could have been. Just be grateful that we got to see some more intense Kang scenes and Ant-Man back in action, which is great. Moving on now to characters, and I think this is where I lose it for this film. Our characters have all moved on from Endgame, starting a new life, and they all of a sudden get sucked into the quantum realm. Now you'd expect there's going to be a journey, that you'd expect something is going to change in the quantum realm. They're going to go through something like an enticing arc that completely changes them when they come out, because that's Marvel. We have nice arcs in Marvel films, and I've always liked them. But in this film, I didn't see one clear character arc or character development from anyone. Pretty much everyone had the same emotions and thought process at the end of the film as they did when the movie started. So I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10 for character. There was one character that I thought had any sort of arc, that was Scott Lang, and he shared this with his daughter Cassie, played by Catherine Newton. Cassie really wants to be like her dad, but also wants to help people, and makes Scott realize that he can use his powers to help people, and learns that he can actually have trust in his daughter and feel proud of her. That father-daughter dynamic was there, and it was well needed, because without that I probably would have dropped the character rating to a 2 or 3 out of 10, because there was literally nothing else. Everything else was just weak to me, and it couldn't fit well with the story in my opinion. Apart from that though, Janet Van Dyne had a great backstory of the quantum realm. Kang was amazing, I really liked his backstory for the film, had a nice detail to it, and it made his decisions justified throughout the film, and it sort of sets up the future of the MCU to come. Again, this is a non-spoiler, so I can't talk about that too much. Jonathan Majors playing the character though definitely helped all of this come to life, I'll be real. Now for everything visuals and CGI related. I think this is one of the most visually beautiful Marvel films I've ever seen. The quantum realm, although a little bit weird, was just stunning, and everything was shot beautifully. Peyton Reed knows when to use music for effect in scenes and how to alter camera angles to exert some action, and he definitely instills some fear because of this when we're being introduced to Kang as a character. CGI wise, Marvel have really upped their game, and this was nice to see. Overall though, for cinematography and visuals, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I really hope Marvel can continue this as we head into Phase 5 now. CGI felt much better than other projects, even though there still needs to be a bit of work. Generally, I can't really fault too much here for this subsection. Finally, now we're going to go into the messages and expectations for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I really do think Marvel, just for this film specifically, led people in the wrong direction, which led to some negative reviews. I mean, the trailer really hyped things up too much, and it was marketed with really high stakes. But we only feel those towards the end of the film, and the outcome completely gets rid of us, taking anything away that's different to other projects from this film. This movie is the film that sort of sets the tone for Kang being the big bad nemesis of the MCU for phase 5 and 6. And despite his performance and his character in general, it's hard to see that because of the ending of the film. Therefore, I'm going to give this subsection a 6 out of 10. I can't really say too much more because this is a non-spoiler review, and what I want to say is sort of spoilers. So I will make a video soon explaining my spoiler thoughts. Now for my overall thoughts of the film. In general, there wasn't anything wrong with Quantumania. I think it was a great watch and I loved every moment of it in the cinemas. However, the ending was slightly underwhelming for me, and I expected something more to happen, but Marvel plays it safe and we have to go. I can't wait for what Marvel has to bring out this year after 2 incredible post-credit scenes. And yeah, that's all I have to say for Quantumania. It wasn't anything special, but it was a weird yet exciting watch to kick off phase 5, making the overall score for the film 7 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, and please do let me know your opinion of the film in the comment section down below. It'd be nice to hear what you guys have to say. And stay tuned for more YouTube reviews coming soon. Peace.